Hey guys, it's Purple Ferret here. So I messed up. I am literally recording this half an hour before this video is supposed to go up because of multiple things. I went on vacation for a week, but it was the week after the last video went up, and I was like, it'll be fine. I'll have like a whole week to make the next video, so it'll be fine. But I didn't because I procrastinated. I started doing art fight and I just didn't start until yesterday, which is a problem. I was like, I'm gonna get a backlog started, woohoo! But then I was like, I wanna do art fight and completely forgot about that goal. I could easily do both if I just made videos about making character sheets for art fight because I joined late. But, I plan on adding this character to my art fight character roster, so this is technically art fight prep, but it's late art fight prep. And I'm gonna have to do more art of him for it. I'm probably gonna use this as a thumbnail because I like it. Anyway, I should probably tell you some things about this character. First off, based on the thumbnail, his name is Jelly. And also, he's a demon. Wow, imagine that. He actually has appeared on this channel once before in a video from 6 years ago? Hold on, it could be multiple videos. Hold up. Okay, yes, I was correct. It was a speed draw. The other one was an animation, and shortly after that animation, I did a speed draw featuring him. So here's another one featuring him. This one's better because one, I've improved, and two, it's digital, and the camera on my phone that I used sucked, and so it was kind of not good. Video's still up, and you can go watch that if you want. I believe I've spoken about his story in that video, so I don't know how much of this is going to be a repeat, but more people are going to want to watch this video anyway, so I'm going to repeat all of it. So his story's a little confusing and complicated, so much so that I haven't figured everything about it out yet. For example, I don't know what portion of it is backstory and what portion of it is actually going to happen on screen, or to make this as I would probably like it to either be animated or a comic because I prefer visual mediums because it's a lot easier to switch points of view in visual mediums without having to dedicate an entire explanation of whose point of view you're in. But anyway, back on track. About Jelly, I'm going to go into backstory things that may or may not be front and center when this is a story that's told. So, Jelly, when he was alive, his name was Abel, and quick world building thing. A person's greatest sin contributes to how they look whenever they're in hell. This is not how he looked when he got there. When he got there, he looked similar but very different, and he looked not at all how he did when he was alive. And Abel died in a way that related to his wrath. He had a strained relationship with his dad, whose name was Cain. Yes, that's on purpose, because Cain and Abel. And it resulted in his death, and the last thing he said to his father was, "I hate you." And so he died truly being angry at his father, which was partially justified, but his death was entirely accidental, and really it was Abel's fault for not listening. And so when he died, he became a demon named Hick, and his form as Hick was demonic, yes, but it distinctly reminded him of his father, so he hated it, which was part of the whole point. He distinctly looked like his father, and he was completely consumed by his wrath in that form. He also hated his name because, one, he couldn't remember what his real name was, because that was another part of the deal with that, because that's the whole point, is you hate your physical form and you can't remember your real name, so you have to go by the name the system gave you, and it gave him Hick. And part of the reason he didn't like his dad was because They lived on a farm, and he was giving up his dreams to stay on the farm and help his dad. And he resented his dad even though he willingly chose, because he felt like he didn't have a choice, even though he did. So he felt like he was trapped in this country lifestyle that he didn't want. And so to be called hick, as in like country hick, really rubbed him the wrong way. And so he spiraled even further into wrath because he hated everyone and himself. And because he was causing so many problems in hell, he had to be dealt with in some way. So they decided, you know what? Go to therapy. And you might be wondering, why does hell have therapy? It's because good people end up in hell after doing bad things, and instead of falling into their sins, they accept them, they acknowledge them, and they try to help others accept and acknowledge their own sins. One such therapist, her name is Cassie, and Cassie is assigned to Hick's case. It takes a lot of work, but eventually he gets to the point where he can remember his name was Abel and knows that he was wrong in life and he can be a better person in hell if he wants to be. And so he does choose to be, sort of. I say sort of because he abandons the sin of wrath, but also chooses to play into the system that may have gotten him into hell. You see, the reason he looks different and his name is Jelly now is because he's like, I need a job, and the best paying job is being a live-in sin demon. And he doesn't entirely understand what that is whenever he signs up, but it's one of the things about hell that is worse because it's about dragging other people down into hell with you. So Jelly is morally in the wrong when he chooses to do this, but he chooses to do it anyway. He doesn't fully understand, but even after he understands, he is all like, I need the money. So part of getting this job had the added benefit of changing what he looked like, because he didn't like that he changed on the inside, but he didn't change on the outside. So he was all like, I can change how I look if I sign up for this job, because then I can take on the guise of a new sin. So Jelly chose to be an envy demon, and because envy and jealousy are synonyms, he decided that his name would be Jelly because of the way he manifested, which he honestly liked a lot better than when he was Hick. It would have been his first choice, but he doesn't hate it. Now that we're at the end of the video, this whole drawing took me an hour and 20 minutes, which is pretty good. Minus the sketch I did on paper, which I didn't time that because I didn't really care to. The sketch didn't really line up with this because I tilted it a bunch of times, so there's not going to be a before and after type deal this time. But I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you stick around and come see the next one. Bye!